Melissa, I understand you are doing some pretty cool stuff over there, and you got a special guest for us today. Can you please introduce him?
Yeah, on the line with us today, we have Brandon Cruz, and he is the CEO and founder of Comments Sold. And it helps convert social media comments into sales, which I'm sure everybody would love to learn more about. So really excited to have him on and talk more about what they are doing and how they see the world evolving. Brandon, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you both for having me. I'm excited to talk.
Yeah, Brandon, look, whenever she mentions social media, I'm first thing there. We do our show on radio, also online, but I'm going to let Melissa ask the questions.
All right, well, why don't we start with what is Comments Sold? Because I gave it a brief little one-liner, but can you tell us a little bit of, just who you guys are and some of the cool brands that you work with?
Well, you nailed it, Melissa. We're a comment selling platform or e-commerce platform that helps retailers scale and grow online, really through social media, but also through their own website and through their own white label mobile app through Comments Sold. So we're kind of the full technology stack for a retailer, from inventory management, fulfillment, the different online selling channels, really with the specialty in live selling, which we've seen so much growth in this year.
So how do people work with Comments Sold? Like if Aaron, wanted to start selling, what would he need to do?
Aaron would come to us and sign up and say, hey, I have this great social media audience and presence. I've spent a long time building it and building a relationship with people that follow me and want to consume my content. And now I'm really just having a hard time figuring out how to monetize that. There's kind of traditional influencer methods where, hey, I'll just take a paid post from somebody, but that kind of lacks authenticity, and I think that's been a little bit overplayed recently. And I think you've seen that a lot when you're following someone, all of a sudden they just talk about some new diet maybe. It seems a little bit insincere. Instead, we kind of take the approach of like, hey, Aaron, let's double down, get more engaged with your audience, go live, do video content with them, engage with them, sell product. It's a much more authentic relationship and very much like do-it-yourself QVC. So he would just have to sign up with Comments Sold. It only takes about 5 minutes to get up and running, and then go live and hang out with his audience and sell products.
So you mentioned, it's like QVC and like live streaming commerce isn't necessarily new, but it's really been taking off. Do you think it's a function of COVID? Do you think it's a function of, Insta Live coming? Like what's driving all this?
That's a good question, Melissa. I think it's really a bit of a perfect storm. We have this type of selling is very popular in China and Southeast Asia. And I think that it was just starting to make its way here. We were seeing live really grow in 2019. But just since the beginning of the year, the consumption of live, so just viewing a live, engaging with people and purchasing, has more than doubled since January. And oddly enough, when lockdowns have been lifted and people kind of get back to sort of, quote, normal life, they still continue to watch these live streams. I think that it's kind of become a part of their daily consumption of content. In a way, I feel like we're kind of fighting with Netflix and Facebook in terms of really getting people's eyeballs' attention. And you end up developing a bit of a friendship with the host. It's something that this type of selling is very, I think, old. It's been around since the 80s. So it's a very old method, but definitely a new medium that we've kind of seen evolving and really launching since COVID. And once those relationships really are developed and those friendships are kind of forged, it's very hard to uproot that. We've noticed that it stays that way even when people kind of get back into their daily life. So it's a little bit of entertainment and also being able to find curated products from, one of your favorite influencers.
Well, I like the word not old, but tried and tested, or tested and tried. Well, right? Because, and aren't you doing exactly that? You're kind of amplifying what already does work, and engagement is everything. And I think, unfortunately, in this world of bots and likes that are often usually bought, if you know what I'm getting at, real engagement and real commenting is always the better type of engagement, or am I wrong?
I think you nailed it, Aaron. I mean, there's really this sort of sense of fake it until you make it. hey, if someone has 1 million followers on Instagram, I can purchase 1 million followers on Instagram. And none of that matters. We like the vanity metrics where it's like, oh, it might look good, but none of those people actually convert because they're not real. They don't really care about you. Instead, we really focus on, just like you mentioned, this tried and true method, which is really forging and developing a relationship with someone that really does stand the test of time and also stands the test of attacks from different mediums that they might be, you're constantly being advertised to as billboards and ads inside your feed and influencers, probably peddling something, and it's just hard to see that authenticity compared to just, chatting with one of your friends while they're live, having that real two-way communication, and being able to purchase products that you really feel like they've curated and that they're showing you in real time. So I think you've absolutely nailed it that, I think in this society, we're very used to being sold something in all these channels instead of really interacting with people, and then selling is almost kind of secondary.
Yeah. Melissa, I know we're running out of time. We're a little bit short there, but quick question. Obviously, retail is kind of your section over there. You have any questions regarding like the brands that are involved with this? Because I see like a lot of them, 30,000 plus, growing.
Yeah, I'd let Brandon chime in on that. I mean, you've had some exciting partnerships here. Any that were surprising to you, or any verticals that you've seen really take off that maybe were unexpected?
Verticals have been very, very interesting. Fast fashion's our largest one, women's fast fashion, but also jewelry, home decor, cosmetics. As you can imagine, cosmetics is very demonstrable. Really there's no sales process. Just, hey, watch me kind of get ready in the morning and put my face on, so to speak. And these are the products that I use. It's very natural. What we've actually seen with the very large retailers is that they've had a little bit of a hard time moving and adapting compared to the smaller ones. Let's say like $100 million a year or more retailer is having difficulty really putting a face to the brand and then connecting with their audience, versus just driving paid search, let's say, maybe they used to do in the past. And that's been a really big advantage for the smaller retailers. And it really does not take many shoppers to make a big difference. A lot of our largest retailers, let's say, that do $2 or $3 million a month in sales, only have about 8,000 purchasers. So it's a relatively small number of purchasers that make up the majority of their business. So I think that's encouraging for small retailers out there trying to get started, and maybe a little bit of a shot over the bow for some large retailers that are really trying to figure this out, which I give them a lot of props for because it's difficult to jump into as a large retailer.
Brandon, look, I have a question that's very important really quick before I let you go, and it is this. The live streaming capacity, we live stream a morning show every single day. We do so on Facebook, and we do so on other platforms as well. How, again, does that work? Because I know a lot of broadcasters out there that are like, how can I make some income?
Absolutely. It's a tricky problem. I think you do the hardest part, in my opinion, Aaron. You broadcast, you create content, you're a creative mind, you engage with people. That's the hard part. And then we're just a tool to help pull all that together and monetize. They can go live right through Comment Sold through our broadcast app. And then from there, we actually take that live stream and simulcast it to Facebook, to a Facebook page, a Facebook group, your very own website and mobile app all at the same time, where you can really meet the shopper where they're at instead of having to force them to come to one channel. And the shopping experience is very, very simple. They find something they like, they comment sold, they get an invoice immediately through, let's say, Facebook Messenger, and then they check out. So it's a very simple process for the shopper, and it's a really good way for you to engage with that audience.
So Melissa, obviously you're probably in my head right now because I know you're thinking of ways to implement that. What would be your suggestion to either brands particularly brands?
I mean, I think it's about authentic content first and foremost. So as long as you're kind of using that lens and getting it out there, I think people are looking to engage. I think that there's a lot more open dialogue. I think there's a lot more openness to in-app shopping and online shopping. So, as long as you can lean into that authenticity, I think that, you could really create a sticky audience.
Yeah, I like the word sticky. I don't know if you would agree with that word sticky, though, necessarily, Brandon.
I would. I think that, for the large retailers, a lot of them are scrambling. We've had many of them reach out and say, how do I navigate this space? And ultimately coming and really putting a face on the brand, engaging with customers is very not normal for the larger brands. The ones that have and we've heard this a lot, Aaron, in retail, about a retailer telling a story. A lot of the retailers that have been telling a story are embracing this much easier. It's much easier for them to say, okay, I'm telling this story about my brand and where we come from, putting a face to the brand on a live sale and really engaging with people is much closer to second nature than somebody that really doesn't engage with the audience at all now. So we've seen a lot of really good success there. And I think a lot of retailers and large brands are trying to figure this out and kind of crack this code just because they've seen the macro trends of the adoption on the consumer side are just out of control. Comments sold will do $1 billion in sales this year, up from 300 last year. So with the majority of that being live. So it's really a trend that's hard to ignore.
Yeah, well, look, Brandon, I appreciate you. I appreciate Melissa. Melissa, I'll let you have the last word. Oh, that might have been Melissa. Sorry. We're probably having technical difficulties. But Brandon, great job doing this. Before I let you go, anything that somebody needs to log in or that they need to know right away?
I think right now, commentsold.com, you can sign up and be up and running in just a few minutes. You can talk to one of our experts to really make sure it's a good fit. And then we'll help you along that journey. We're very invested in making you successful as a retailer. That's really part of our model. So we're excited to help people along that journey and really figure out the space. So think of us as your consultative experts.
Well, Brandon, thank you so very much for spending time with us. Again, those that want to go find out more information, where do they go?
Commentsold.com.
There it is, commentsold.com. It's all right there if you want to sell via the comments and or live streaming. And there's so many other ways, Instagram, Facebook. I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more, Brandon. I got some great ideas for you, but I'll save that for after COVID, if we get through that, I hope.
Well, I can't wait to hear them, Aaron. Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right. Melissa Gonzalez, everybody, also the Lioness Group. Unfortunately, we disconnected from her, but go check her out as well. She is an expert on retail space and going to the next level of digital. So we'd love to have Melissa. We'll have her back again soon. We have to take a quick break here on The Morning Show. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned.